Hello, friends. How are you today? Day 5 of A Path of Purpose. So today I want to talk about who are you spending your time with? Are you spending time with people who lift you up, or do they tear you down? I think too often we are in relationships and don't realize the negative or positive effects that they have on our lives. And so today I just want to talk about taking time to look at that, right? So, it's interesting. I hear people say, well, like for instance, you tell the kids, the teenagers, don't spend time with those kids because they're drinking, right? And you'll hear a response of, oh, well, Mom, they're my friends and I don't drink with them, and what they do doesn't affect me and doesn't bother me. Well, isn't that an interesting statement? Because I read something today that says if you stand next to a waterfall, you're going to get wet. Maybe you're not intentionally wanting to get wet, but you're standing by a waterfall, you're going to get wet. And so we need to recognize in our lives that if we're hanging around with people that project anger and gossip and complaining, and the list goes on, right? But if that's the person you're hanging around with, we are affected by it. We do start seeing those effects in our lives, and we start mimicking those same behaviors. So, and so if we're looking at our friends, we need to stop and, friends and family, right? Then we need to stop and look at ourselves and say, well, what kind of influence am I having in other people's lives? Am I having a positive or a negative effect in people's lives? Do they see the fruits of the Spirit in my life? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, self-control. Do they see those fruits in my life? Or do they see the opposite, right? Hatred and gluttony and just the opposite. So we have to take a moment to think about that. So today's, my thoughts are short today, but I just want to challenge us to choose where we spend our time, and to remember that we can and do choose our friendships. I think too often we just become friends with people just because they're in our group, and then we're quick to share Facebook and share all of our personal information. Like, for instance, when I do trainings for caregivers in my field, I say, you guys, I know you want to get along with those that you work with, but I want you to be careful not to, because you're coming into an environment where you don't know them. And we're quick to, like I said, we're quick to share our social media. We're quick to share our personal lives with these people, and we haven't even taken the time to get to know them. And so in some ways, we need to have a healthy guard in our lives to give us discernment, to watch people, to see their mannerisms, to see how they associate with other people. So that's why groups are so good, when you can interact. And so let me think here, let me look here what I wrote for my notes. Yeah, so today, take time to think about the people that you've surrounded yourself with, and realize that you do have a choice. And maybe there are unhealthy people in your life that are taking advantage of you, that are always wanting you to do something for them, but you receive nothing in return. It's just this constant pouring out. And you may have a difficult decision to make, to remove yourself from that relationship, or to spend less time in that relationship. But sometimes there's a cost involved when we start ourselves wanting to be healthy and make good choices. So it may mean change, making difficult decisions in your relationships. And sometimes that's even with a parent. I can share a quick story. So when I would get on the phone with one of my family members, oftentimes they would end up yelling at me, or they would just kind of cast blame on me for things. And I realized that our phone conversations were very unhealthy. And so at one point, I just stopped them in the middle of their rant. And I said, obviously we don't have anything to discuss right now, so we'll talk later. And I hung up. I said goodbye and hung up. And it really did set a new precedence in our conversations, because they realized that I wasn't just going to sit and listen to the blaming, the yelling, the negative communication that was happening, and I wanted our relationship to be healthy. And so that was a good first step, was standing up for myself and just saying, well, obviously we can't talk right now, was probably what I said. So that was good. But it had good fruit, because I could maintain that relationship, but there was some boundaries in that relationship then. So take time today to think about those people in your life, right? And then, the cool thing is if you, as you're thinking about the people in your life, and you realize how amazing your friends are, or your family members, and you have people in your life that do encourage you and support you, and give good counsel, and they're good listeners, right? There's so many positive qualities in people that really know how to be a good friend. And so if you have those people in your life, go communicate your love and your appreciation for them. And why? Because they make a big difference in your life, and you love life because of their positive influence in your life. So that's all I had for you today, but we'll be back on day 6 tomorrow. Have a great rest of the day.